Just say I do.
Good afternoon and welcome to Behind the Veil, a show that talks about all things wedding and event related. Marci Guttenberg. I am the actual co-host for Behind the Veil, and Keith Willard, our primary host. He is out for the day, actually at the Ritz Carlton doing an event, at a tasting for a client. So we will have him back next week. In the meanwhile, we have a great show for you today. We have one of our standard all-time favorites, Brittny Drye from who is going to talk about all things regarding the bridal fashion show from just this past week. So that's pretty exciting. She is with Love Inc. magazine, and she'll tell you a little bit more about that. I'm going to bring her on. So welcome to the show, Brittny.
Hi,
How are you
Marci.
today?
So good to see you. I'm doing
so
well.
Great
How are you?
To see you, as always. As always, you're such a fun guest. And
I love you guys.
You.
Yeah, I love being on with you guys.
Yes. So tell us a little bit, if you would, because we do have some listeners that may be newer, and I would love for them to hear a little bit about Love Inc. and what you do with the company.
Yes. So Love Inc. is an LGBTQ+ inclusive wedding publication. I started in 2013. We started as a blog. And then we've since evolved into a publication that we pushed at, like a print publication that we push out once a year, podcast, all the things. And actually, I've been like, we printed the last 2 issues, and I'm, just doing it on my own, selling it on the site. But exciting developments happened this year where we got signed on by the largest magazine distributor in the States. And so now we are on retail shelves in like 4,000 stores across the US and Canada. Yes.
That's fabulous. Yes. That's exciting.
Very exciting. It's literally a dream come true. Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, CVS, Walgreens, Publix, Kroger, like the list goes on. So we actually have a store locator on our site. If you guys are interested in picking up a copy to find like a retailer near you that's carrying it. But yeah, it hits newsstands on October 25th. So
that's going to be your first issue there?
First issue on retail shelves. Yep.
Awesome. That is amazing. I mean, to get on a shelf is such a big feat. I mean, there are so much competition out there, but your niche is so driven to a really great group of inclusivity and bringing awareness to an area that really is not on the shelves. So that's going to be new and exciting for everybody. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
So October, what did you say? October 15th?
October 25th. So 25th. A week from today.
Great. Okay. So we're going to take a look for that. And today we're here talking about last week's bridal fashion show in New York. And that's always an exciting time. Did you have a great time?
Yes. So I know we have been doing, this is our second season with you guys talking about it, but in case you guys missed the first one, Bridal Fashion Week is basically, it's over a span of 4 to 5 days, and it happens in October and it happens in April. And it is a time where wedding dress designers, wedding outfit designers come and show what they've been working on, their collection for the upcoming year. And for like with ready to wear, you're looking at 6 months. With bridal, it's actually a year. So we actually saw fall winter 2023 collections this time around. And just because of the timeline, with wedding, like you're getting it altered and fitted for over a span of 6 to 9 months. So yeah, the timeline's a little different than ready to wear, but so we saw it's a mix of fashion runway shows versus like smaller intimate presentations with the designers where they're talking you through the collection one-on-one. Sometimes you're just like walking in a room and you have all the designs on models just like standing there. So it's a mix of formats, but it's an opportunity for buyers to see what they want in their stores. It's an opportunity for editors to connect with the designers and learn their inspiration behind the collection and get to see what's going to be trending for the next year. So we have something to write about.
So when they do the fashion show for the bridal fashion show, that literally follows the custom or ready to wear fashion show the prior week. Am I right?
So usually like regular fashion week happens in September and February here in New York. And so a month later, in October, the fall one hits for bridal. And then for the spring, it's a couple months later in April. So yeah. And, for the designers that do both, that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's exactly what I'm like, oh my gosh, can you imagine if you have to do 2 shows? I mean, people don't realize the effort and the time that goes into them, into the thought process of every aspect of a show. And not only that, then their design. So that's a big,
it's
a big
lot.
thing, a big thing to take on.
Yeah, I was talking to Sala head designer Mika Cho about it because they did a ready-to-wear collection. And he was just like, yeah, it was just so much like all at once. But now he's like, okay, I'm taking a vacation now. I'm checking out for a couple of weeks. Because, I mean, they're working around the clock for months at a time to get, whether it's both ready to wear and bridal or just bridal. There's so much design, development, execution, planning that goes into not only creating the collections, but getting them ready for press and meet and buyers to see and presenting it in a way that makes sense. So yeah, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. By the way, am I glitching on my visual?
You're okay.
Okay, because I know it was going in and out on my end, but I don't know what you're seeing. Yeah, no, it's funny. I was watching I was noticing that several of the designers have noted that they're all on vacation like this week or last week because they needed to decompress and I saw like Christian Siriano and a few others were all taking that little time away and stepping away from the mundane of everyday trudging, so to speak.
Yes.
But it is exciting to see the trends that are coming up because they do trickle out to all the other facets that are there for events. And, I get to see a lot of up and coming things on my end as well for things that are coming down the pike that, people don't necessarily see it until they start seeing it from their friends and so forth, or seeing what's in the stores. And it's always exciting to see new, fresh things, Tell me a little bit about this show. Like, what would you say was one thing that you think was the biggest standout?
Oh gosh. I mean, there was
I know there's so many.
Yeah, there was so many trends.
Let's talk about maybe fabric. Let's start with fabric because I think that's a great start.
Yeah, actually, that is actually a trend. Is unique fabrication was used. We're used to seeing tulle, lace, chiffon. One thing that I noticed that stood out to me was that this year there was a lot of designers who kind of like went out of the box. Like Houghton, for instance, she had like a latex dress, which was super cool. There was one, Nadia Manjarez had this like tight crepe fabric that looked amazing on. I'm just like, this is going to photograph beautifully.
Crepe is in drapey crepe?
Crepe, like it was like a tightly woven though. So it wasn't like drapey like you think crepe to be. It was interesting. It was really interesting. And I'm going to be doing a trend roundup on loveinkmag.com this week. So I'll have images of all this because it's hard to describe, just fabrication. And then there was like this brocade tulle that Francesca Miranda used that was just like really beautiful. And there was nylon organdy, which I don't even know what that is, but that was used.
Organdy?
It wasn't like organza. It was like, it's called organdy.
Organdy. Okay.
I don't know. I'm not as well versed on fabrication, but that was a beautiful, I don't want to say it looks plastic because that would do it a disservice. It was this cool, like luminescent fabric that Nadia Manjarez also used. She always does such cool stuff. She's one of my favorite designers. So yeah, they definitely definitely had more designers than usual, like kind of go more out of the box with their fabrication. and just something a
Okay.
little different. Yeah.
There are a lot of sheer or structured, structured design.
So we had the naked dress as a trend for a few years. Me personally, I think, there's definitely like an audience for it, but we're kind of
Right.
moving away from that. There is some like Galia Lahav, like they always do kind of
Yes.
more, that's their signature look. So she still brought that to the runway, which as she should, that's her signature look. But as far as a trend, less of that this season. We definitely did see very architectural draping, I would feel like a lot of like bodice draping that was more like architectural and interesting versus like what you're used to and like the pleating details and stuff like that. So that was really cool.
How about like sleeves? Like were there any full sleeves or long sleeves and so forth?
Definitely. We're seeing, I mean, sleeves have kind of been a thing for a while. Last season, I know we talked about this last season, a lot of Bridgerton inspired sleeves. Continued seeing that this season with like the more like poofy, bellowy sleeves, very romantic, very Bridgerton.
Okay. So that's going to continue through 2023.
That's continuing. And also we saw a lot of gloves, which I even mentioned last season because of the Bridgerton influence. I was expecting to see gloves last season, but I didn't. This season they brought the gloves.
Wow. And are they short gloves or more long, like long gloves?
It was a mix. Yeah. So they definitely, it was a mix. Yeah.
Mix. Okay. Are they embellished or are they fairly simple?
It was a mix for that too. There was a lot of gloves that kind of went with the dress. So it was very like designed based on what the dress looks like. So if it was like a solid dress, it was like solid long gloves or more embellished with pearls. The designs, it ran the gamut of style, but gloves is something that we haven't seen in a really long time. This heavy and bridal. So, and like I said, I was expecting to see it last season because I knew Bridgerton would play a key role in the inspiration. But I guess with fall, it makes more sense with fall, winter. So like once I like started thinking about it, okay. So yeah, I was like, I mean, I don't know if I would personally wear gloves because it's, I don't know. I feel like you got to take it off. You can't use your phone a lot.
Every time you go to do something, it's like you got to take off the glove.
But it looks good. It looks good.
Right for the ceremony.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And how about color?
So there's like a color that you see a lot of. There wasn't really a ton of that. There was like this cool smoky gray color that I saw in a few collections. Sala had it. Madeline Gardner, actually. So she's a designer for Morley. She, for the first time ever, launched a couture collection that was beyond. It's called Madeline. And she had this gorgeous, like smoky gray color in her collection as well. So that, I mean, standout color, I would say that would be it because it was in a few different collections, but not as, there wasn't like usually there's like a very prominent, like, okay, this is the color of the year. So that was in, I think, 4 collections. Usually it's a little bit more to be a trend, but but yeah, I would say that like smoky gray, it was really pretty. Really,
and we're talking like a smoky gray, not a smoky gray satin or shimmery, right?
Right. Yeah. This was like mostly like tulle. It was like smoky. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of was taking a look. I was like noticing there's just a whole plethora of designs that, usually in the past.
Oh no, you're cutting out.
It used to be there. I'm back. Sorry.
I don't know what you said. It was cutting out on you.
I don't know what happened. But no, I was saying that like in the past, in like years ago, it used to be that you used to see like 1 or 2 shapes. And now there are a plethora of designers out there with so many different creative, elements that it just gives it gives the couple or the bride, it gives them such an opportunity to really make it their own statement.
Yeah, definitely. And another trend that I noticed. So, you've seen the looks where it's like 2-in-1 looks and you take off an overskirt, right? That's been around.
I think that was around, and I will tell you, back in the early 80s, no, mid 80s, I think it was mid 80s, a friend of mine got married, and I was one of her bridesmaids back then. And I was doing the 2-in-1 then.
Oh,
because
well,
I
you
was
were
wearing
ahead of
a
time.
short dress and then a big peplum dress. And that was, I think, by Bill Levkoff.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like, that's been a thing, but this season I saw a lot. I don't know what I'm going to call them. I might call them like transformation or like modular designs maybe,
Mhm.
but where you have the 2-in-1 or 3-in-1 dress, but it's like done in really cool ways where it's like, it's not just like a bolero that you put over, or like an overskirt that you put over, where we still saw that, but it was just complete transformation because it would be like this like peplum thing that you put. Badgley Mishka had this like peplum, I don't want to say like bodice belt, I don't know. But it really just changed the whole look of the dress. And a lot of like upper body add-ons that you completely like I said, transform the dress. And so that was something, because every designer that I talked to about this, they were like, our clients have been asking for this. Our clients have been wanting to get more looks out of their one dress, because
wow.
they want to do the 2,
Yeah.
3 looks of the night. But obviously, like, who has, $5,000 times 3 to spend
not
on
only that,
fashion?
it's just so much easier to remove or add on a piece than to do an entirely complete change.
Yes.
A lot of times they miss part of their event because they're off changing. And this
Yeah.
will give them that ability to have more involvement with their guests.
Take it off as you go on.
Enjoy.
Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly. And we actually have one more visitor today. Yay, Brooke Logan Stoner.
Hi.
Hello, Brooke.
Hi, Brooke.
What's going on, ladies?
Hi, how are you?
Our girl, Brooke.
I am
Miss Beautiful. How are you today?
Fighting with the ring light. So if it looks like Halloween, ta-da!
I know. So
Brittny, thank you for putting your hair up because I was very lazy today.
Oh, you
Perfect.
guys are lucky that I put makeup on today. I'm so wiped from last week and having to get dolled up. So
Same.
yeah.
So we're talking about weddings and we're talking about bridal attire because she just got back from Fashion Week last week.
Oh, how was that?
And
Good.
yeah,
It felt like pre-pandemic level.
I was going to ask about that.
Oh,
Like, was it
right.
really back
Right.
to the way it used to be?
It was,
Where it's
because
fun?
even last season in April, it was, people were still like kind of dipping their toes. They didn't want to show and put like all this money into production and then like have it canceled because we are like another surge. But this year it felt full on. I think I had like 75 appointments. It was like
Oh, wow.
back to back to back, like it was pre-pandemic, where like I said, like April, it was the first in person in April. But even then it felt a little soft. This one was like full on. And you had and you had the events in the evening, the parties and stuff like that. So it was busy, early mornings and late nights, but I'm still recovering. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Aside from gloves, were there any other accessories? Because I know, you don't see a lot in the way of accessories in the other than maybe a belt here and there, or obviously, you've got some people will want a purse and some will not. Do you see any of that coming into play?
I would say headpieces, like very statement headbands. That's something that was pretty prominent. I saw that in April as well. And actually in the issue, that was like our accessory trend spotlight.
And it's really headbands, not necessarily like the tiara or anything
right.
like that.
Yeah. These are like headbands that are very like statement driven. So, you pair it, it's like got, very embellished like pearls or something, very modern looking. Yeah, so I actually saw that in April, and then it continued into this season as well.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. How about like pantsuits or anything of that nature?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a few years ago, every designer would have at least like one pants option in their collections. Less of that. And I think we actually like talked about this last season where it's just like this lack of pants options because it was like doing so well in previous seasons. And now
Right.
we're kind of like, I mean, there's still some options, but less so than there used to be, which kind of like bums me out because I always love a
Yeah.
good like pants moment. But yeah, so there's definitely some amazing ones, but not as much as I would like to see. I'd like to see more.
Okay.
Were there
And
standouts?
we see. Go
Were there
ahead.
were there standouts that she
I
like totally gagged over?
Yes. So
Give us a scoop.
Lula Bride had this like iridescent rainbow dress. And they said, like, this isn't for the buyers, this is for us. We're making this. It's called the Marsha. And go to their Instagram.
Okay.
It was absolutely incredible. It was like I don't even know how to. It was like iridescent, gorgeous,
Like unicorn gorgeous kind of feel.
yeah. So it was called the Marsha after Marsha P. Johnson, from Stonewall, and
Love that.
I'm
Love
going to
that.
like this is going to live in my mind for like years to come. It was just breathtaking.
And who was the designer for that?
Lula Bride. It's owned by two women, and I'm trying to remember their names. Martial. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correct. And Martial Mayer and Timmy Johnson. And it's small, like Brooklyn.
Are they on Insta?
They are, yes.
Okay. So
Well,
we'll have to take a look at that. Yes. And
and they had another gown that I just like, and they're very, very inclusive. Like if you go to their Instagram, they have like all genders in dresses. They're very like size inclusive. Definitely like I'm a fan of theirs, big fan of theirs. Mm-hmm. And then another standout was an Amsala gown that was just breathtaking. It had like this draping, as we were talking, like the dramatic draping and the architectural draping. That was like a rose, but in draping, and it took Mika like 7 hours to just do the draping part of it and get it perfect. And they were like, it was a huge favorite of buyers, and they're like, well, we're like digging ourselves in a hole because it's going to be really difficult to like produce this on the in mass. But it was stunning and definitely a highlight of market for me.
Mm-hmm. And how about bows? Are we seeing any bows this season, or are those kind of fading out?
We definitely saw some bows. We saw some little bows. We saw some big bows. I think it's definitely one of those trends that are, it's still like left over from this season, because I feel like last season we saw a lot.
A lot.
Still some, but not as many. So I think it's like starting to like fizzle out.
And do they, obviously you get to see makeup while you're there. Are you seeing a lot of makeup when they're doing these shows, or are they doing more of a minimalistic makeup design?
Yeah, usually more minimalistic, just so that they can let the dresses shine. I feel like with, ready to wear, they push the envelope a little bit more with the beauty, less so with bridal.
So very ethereal, very simple.
Yeah, very natural looking, and just kind of like letting the dresses do the talking.
Nice. What was your favorite moment? Like, was there any particular designer that you just said that was the one for me, or was that the one with the rainbow dress?
Yeah, the Marsha dress, that was that and the ensemble dress, my two by far hands down favorite pieces that I saw. As far as like full collections, Andrew Kwan is kind of like an up and coming designer. I think this is his 5th collection, but he had some amazing pieces where like the entire collection was just really, really gorgeous. Like every piece was a masterpiece. So I really loved his collection as a whole. And yeah, and there was some standout pieces here or there, but definitely, those two, like I'm going to be thinking about those for a while. And I really like, hopefully I can find a way to use them in a photo shoot or something.
Now I do have to ask.
Find that gown.
Yes, go find it. Yes, it is. I think they put it on their Instagram. I'm sure they
I can't
have.
get into my Insta for some reason, and I don't remember my password, so I don't want to like screw up my Facebook too.
Oh no!
So
Yeah.
I'm just googling like old school.
Yeah, Google like Marsha P. Johnson, Lulette Bride, and it should come up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I do have to ask the question because obviously this was in New York, and with New York having some challenges with regards to tourists coming in and so forth. How did that have any bearing as to where you were located, where the events are located?
Not really. So where it takes place, it's mostly almost all of it's in Manhattan, and
By Bryant Street?
It's everywhere.
Is it?
I wish
Okay.
it was one location. That would make my job so much easier. All over. So you were running around up and down. You try to time it where, okay, I have 3 appointments in Soho. Let's try to have it all together. But yeah, so it depends on like the format that they're doing, whether it's like a come and go thing or if it's like a runway show and you have to be there at a certain time. But it's all over the city, and yeah, lots of Ubers, lots of cab rides. Yeah, luckily,
the one thing though that they don't have to fight the traffic like they used to.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad. There was only really like one day that was like bad weather, so of course you're gonna have bad traffic with that. But
Yeah.
I mean, October is always like a big tourist month here. But it wasn't like anything like out of the ordinary, I would feel.
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, I love the fall up in the New England area. It's just, you get that fresh, breezy, cool vibe. It's fun, and it's just very refreshing.
Yeah,
we're in Florida, so it's warmer.
Seasons. Yeah,
exactly.
It was really nice weather for like 3 of the 4 days. Like not too hot, not too cold.
Good.
So it was nice to walk around.
Nice. How about like we talked a little bit about fabric and so forth. What about the architecture in regards to, did you see anything that had like appliques on there, or anything that had maybe some lace or things like that? Did you see anything that had that finer embellishment?
Yeah, so definitely some like beautiful like lace detailings. Remacra always has like gorgeous lace designs. You have the 3D floral appliques on a bunch of dresses. We lost Brooke.
We lost her.
Yeah, so things like that I think are just kind of, the bread and butter of bridal at this point, but done in, fresh silhouettes or paired with, more trendy pieces. But with bridal, you also want timeless. So like you want the trends, but you also want timeless. So it's good. A designer's smart if they have kind of a mix of both in their collections.
Nice. As far as hairstyles, are you seeing any change, anything different, or is there just everything?
Yeah, it was pretty kept natural. Again, with like right where they go much more bold with their beauty looks. Not so much in bridal. It's kind of kept more like standard and
up, down, half up, half down, all around.
Yeah.
What's the hairdo?
Yeah, it's really just kept pretty.
Focus on the dress.
Focus on the dress. Yeah.
How about necklines?
Simple hair, simple face.
Yeah, exactly. Simple hair, simple face. Necklines, there was a lot of high necks, which have kind of been trending on the up and up the last few seasons. I think a lot of it, we saw a lot of it last season. I think a lot was like Bridgerton inspired, that regal, kind of proper.
A little less hooker.
Yeah, a little less hooker, but you still off with a high slit and
That's
just
nice.
balance it out. Yeah, so a lot of high necks. I'm still seeing like that dropped waist. We started seeing that, last season, which is such a hard silhouette to pull off.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a hard sell for me.
That's a hard one.
You have to have the body for that.
Yes, very specific body type for that one. And I just think I was surprised to like see it continuing. I'm like, because I was like hot in the 90s. I'm like, really? We're out of the 90s? Like, that's what we're bringing back? Leave that one back there, guys.
As old as new and new as old, right?
Need to be repeated and they need to stay dead.
Yeah, some things need to be, yes, exactly. That is one of them.
That's a good way to phrase it, Brooke.
Let's not resurrect that.
No one wants that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely, another thing that I found interesting. So I don't know if you guys remember when like mermaid silhouettes were like hot.
Oh, yes.
And they like dropped and you never saw them. I saw a mermaid silhouette. It was like, wow.
Really?
I have one.
So they're back.
Right here.
I'm wondering if, so Justin Alexander did a mermaid silhouette and they kind of just did it just like, let's just see. And he was telling me it was selling like hotcakes to buyers.
Wow.
So I'm like, I'm wondering if this is something that we're going to see in the next couple of years, this silhouette coming back. Because I remember it was like so popular.
That used to be the ticket for sure.
Because it shows out the booty.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. I'm keep an eye on this one. He's like, yeah, we
remember
were,
the mermaid
surprised,
dresses.
like selling like crazy with buyers.
I like them because I mean, to be honest, I don't even like the mermaid style on me because I'm so tall. It makes me look shorter. So that's like the only reason I'm on board with it.
Because it's so bottom heavy. Yeah.
And so if you're super tall, it kind of shrinks you. A short girl wearing a mermaid's going to make her look like Oompa Loompa. You know what I mean? It can. It can.
Yeah. It's definitely like a silhouette that's not for every body type.
Make them, like, it could like stretch their legs, the little legs if they don't have any. It depends on like how high up they start the bellow out of the mermaid skirt on the bottom, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Like if it starts at your knees or further, lower.
Right.
Gotcha.
I'm not a designer. I just know what works on me and what does not.
I probably would look like the Oompa Loompa.
I mean, I think, it's like one of those dresses that I feel like you either love it or you hate it. But until you like try it on your own body, it's hard, you don't judge until you see it on yourself because it works on some people and it doesn't work on others. But the ones that it does work on, it looks good.
You brought up an interesting point just now. So many people, they have a vision of what they think the dress should be on them. And I always say, go in with an open mind and try things on that you may not expect to look good, because you'll be surprised sometimes something that you thought was totally not going to work. And it could be like the best thing on you. Absolutely.
And it's, why not? Like, why not try and see? You're not committing to anything. It's, and let the stylist, if you are going to a salon, like let the stylist
do their job.
Do their job.
And they know what's gonna, like, if they see a body, they'll figure, they know what they have in inventory, and they'll be give you guidance. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think if you go in with an open mind, some people are like, I want that dress, and they're just basing it off of what they see on like a computer screen or an Instagram photo.
Right.
And there's so many there's lighting involved with that. There's like atmosphere and
sometimes
setting.
It looks like hot garbage on the person that they think is going to look amazing. Again, your stylist, let them do their job.
Like, there's so much more to it, or maybe the way it's tailored for that specific person. So I think it's like when you go in, like, I want this Remacra dress, you're selling yourself short, and you're missing out on a lot of like different possibilities that could be awesome and great and look amazing on you.
Exactly. You know, I saw something, I think it may have been either, I think on TikTok or Pinterest. I don't know. It was one of those social media sites, and it was a very simple dress, and then it was almost like a backwards, like almost like a backwards bolero, long sleeve bolero jacket, but that was very iridescent. And did you see anything like that where it was like a backwards type of top that could be taken off?
Think 80s and turn it around.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
definitely like some boleros and more. And that was kind of with that like modular design where it's like you know, it's like a takeoff situation to create a completely different looks. But it's like less like sheer boleros and more like these cool add-on pieces. So we definitely saw like, you know, different versions of that. Yeah.
So we really aren't seeing a lot of like iridescent fabrics this season. It's going to be more into opaque fabrics.
Yeah, I mean iridescent. There was a few pieces, but I wouldn't say that's like common.
Okay.
It's more, you know, you're a lot of like, you know, lace tulle, the regular things, and then you got into the details with like the way that it was draped or you know the structure of it. Again, like the transformation pieces, that was huge. Yeah, so
Do you see when you're at the fashion shows, or do they have or an area, or do they show you anything with regards to footwear trends?
not really. There was you know, during Fashion Week, other accessories, sometimes you get previews of those. So I don't know if you guys heard of the whole like Haley Page of JLM Couture mess, but basically Haley Page is like a younger designer. She signed on with JLM when she was like 22 years old, like very, very young. And
Okay.
her contract was up and she was like trying to leave. And they basically told her, like, you are not allowed to use your name. It was bad.
Oh, shady.
Wow.
It was shady
Wow.
and really shady stuff. And she had to stop designing completely. She had to stop like sharing about it. They took her Instagram account that was actually her personal Instagram account.
Oh, wow.
Because they basically claimed her name. And so she had to legally change her name. And she's not allowed to work in the wedding space. She's not, yeah. So it was awful, awful.
Wow. Talk about being owned.
Yeah, right?
Really, it was just like one of those things where it's like they took advantage of a young designer and, you know, she basically like sold her soul and they took everything from her. So now she is designing shoes and she changed her name to Cheval. And so she released this fashion shoe collection. So I got to preview that during Bridal Fashion Week as well. And it's super cool. Very, you know, it's very Cheval, where it's, you know, these really cool embellishments and it's very fun and flirty. And yeah, I'm just excited to see her designing again and like putting her work out there to the world because she's really, really talented and it needs to be, yeah.
So is she she's never gonna be able to be in that space again in her life, or is this like a permanent thing?
It's like an ongoing legal battle.
Wow.
It's still going on. It's been going on for 2 years now, I think 2-3 years. And she, you know, it's different layers and
that's so sad.
Shitty. Like,
it
That's
is
really sad.
To take
It
someone's
is.
life work like that away from them over, I'm sorry, that just screams greed to me. Did you know what I
Yes.
say? Don't be greedy. Things get
I was
smarter.
just gonna say.
So what will happen is this thing will be fine. The owners, yeah. Guess what?
karma.
It's
Yeah,
karma.
let's
It'll
hope
come.
so.
For sure.
Yeah.
That is so stinky business. I don't like that. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
shady.
It's a tough bit of business to be in because it is very cutthroat.
Contracts, honey.
Yeah.
Contracts and stuff are so important.
Yeah,
So important.
I mean, JLM, it's very
And
like
how
corporate-y, you know.
To take advantage of someone so young too, that's like really fresh and green, I would imagine. at that point is just a horrible, shitty thing to do to a person. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yes.
Oh,
But
it's
I'm not
completely,
sorry.
yeah, no, it's
Sorry, not sorry.
Right?
completely like taking advantage of someone young and doesn't know any better. You know, she's looking at this contract and she's thinking like, what an amazing opportunity. I'm 22
Right.
years old. And she grew that brand. She has a huge following, or did on her main Instagram. And people would go into the store and say, I want a Haley Page gown. Like,
We need to do free Haley. Like Brittany's like, you know what I'm saying? Let's start the free Haley movement. Sure.
come to a place like I said, she like changed her name legally and she's like moving into it. She's, I think, in a better headspace where like she's owning her own name now, her new name, and you know, I'm sure she hopes to get into the wedding space again at some point. I hope she does because she's so wonderfully talented.
Well, the
like
creativity
started that. She was like not trying to get rich and be a millionaire quick. She was just like in her dream and her passion, doing her thing.
Right.
And for someone to take advantage of that, I'm just.
I know. It's
That's
gross.
not
It's
not a
awful.
cool thing.
So
Yeah.
we'll put it out in the universe that she's able to design whatever she wants.
Yeah.
With whatever name she wants too. Like that's just show business. But.
Yeah, but go check out sheischeval.com. Her shoe collection's amazing. And I'm so excited for her to like I said, be designing again and creating again. Cause I know like as a creative person, I can only imagine like how challenging that is to like be forced to hold it in, you know?
Right.
Once I get off and I find it, I'll post that and the Marci dress on my Facebook and I'll tag everyone.
Yes, please.
So I will.
Please. What would you say is so the next show would be in the springtime? Am I right?
Yep. It's in April.
Okay, and this is a closed format, meaning that you cannot get in unless you're in the industry. Am I right?
Yeah. So it's like an invite only, you know, for buyers of like salon buyers. So they go and, you know, pick which dresses they want to sell in their stores, and then also editors, and then the occasional influencer.
I'll just make badges. We'll say one will have influencer, one will say buyer, and if you want to go, Marci will go. No, I would love. God, I would love to be able to go see something like that.
Yeah,
but
me too.
One day.
One day. So we were talking a little before the wrap-up period, but we were talking a little before about the magazine. And I know we talked about that you actually have, and I'm so excited. Brooke doesn't know this because she wasn't on at the time, but they are coming out with a format where it will be available in the stores as of October 18th. Am I right?
October 25th.
25th, excuse me.
Yeah.
I got to write that date down. 25th. And that is going to be at all of the supermarkets and where else did you say?
Yeah, so it's in bookstores like Barnes and Noble, Target, Publix, Kroger, CVS, Walgreens.
And what is this exactly?
So it's my magazine, Love Inc.
Love Inc.
Oh, word.
Yes. So we, up until then, thank you. Yeah, this is like ultimate career dream coming true here.
For sure, yeah.
I'm so excited for you. I think that's fabulous.
I wish. So I sent Keith an invite. We're having like a big launch party in New York next week, and I sent Keith an invite for the team, but he's like, "Oh, we're in Florida."
Yeah.
Like I know, but I was just hoping maybe.
Thank you.
What's the date?
October 26th is the event date. Come up, Brooke.
Ooh, I might. I have a round trip ticket standing by, so that I have
please do.
Very cool.
It'll be fun. We have we're working with some amazing creative folks to pull it together and have about like I think like 250 industry people coming with, you know, media and influencers.
Amazing. Well, if I don't make it, congratulations right now.
Thank you.
That's so great.
I was like,
so great.
You know, this is, I mean, I don't know what else is left after this. This is like kind of my ultimate where I want to be.
Pinnacle.
Yeah. So I'm like, what's the next thing that I'll get to celebrate career wise? I don't know. So we're going to go full
It's
on.
gonna go up from there. It's
Yeah.
gonna-
So we'll
That
see.
is
We'll see
amazing,
where
and
it
that's
goes.
the big,
People
big
thriving and,
challenge
like,
to do.
getting
Yeah.
their coin in their bags. I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely do.
Thank
So
you,
congratulations
guys.
again.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
For sure.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, that wraps everything up for today. We will be back next week with Keith Willard as your host, and I am Marci Guttenberg. I'd like to thank Brittny Drye and our other co-host, Brooke Logan Stoner. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Goodbye.
Bye.